This report is exactly what Avs fans have wanted to hear, as multiple rumors and reports have circulated revolving around one player in particular on the Avs and his future with the club. We finally get some clarity from an NHL insider on his future with the Colorado Avalanche, what it might look like, and we're going to break it down because this situation has been going on for quite a while and it's taken a crazy turn. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we do that, we've noticed that about 70% of you who watch these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on around the NHL, go down below, hit that free subscribe button because this is the place to be for all your daily NHL content. But KC, let's get right into it. A lot of rumors, a lot of reports flying around about, the future of Martin Necas in Colorado and what that looks like. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is it going to be another Mikko Rantanen situation? Well, let's break it down because there's been a new report and I think it's going to put a lot of Avs fans to, give them some peace of mind right now because there's been a lot floating around about that. And Pierre LeBrun has just reported that, the Avs are in talks with Martin Necas and his agent. Of course, you're going to be in talks, in the offseason heading into the season. But there's an ecosystem here. We're going to have to sign Cale Makar as well, is what they're saying, right? We're going to get into that in this video as well, what that looks like. And obviously he needs a pretty significant raise, Cale Makar that is, and so does Martin Necas. But the Avs are confident that they can get this contract done, that they're going to be able to extend Martin Necas at some point. So, Casey, what's your take on the situation so far? Things have been pretty crazy. There's been a lot of rumors about him wanting out of Colorado. I don't know if those are necessarily true. It hasn't necessarily been reported. They're just kind of rumors at this point. But could you see another Mikko Rantanen situation, or do they get this done?
I think they get this done here because you're getting Necas in lower than what you would ever got Rantanen done at. So I think that helps the team more where they have Cale Makar coming up and they're going to have to dish out big bucks for him because he's the best defenseman in the world. So I think Necas has been a great replacement to Mikko Rantanen. And I think him and McKinnon have really found a connection this season. And I mean, early on here, he has 13 points to start the year. McKinnon has 17 just very early on. So both over a point per game player at this point, and it seems like their chemistry is ever evolving every game. And I think Necas is a player that this team needed in the absence of Mikko Rantanen because he's more of that skilled, goal scoring winger, but he also has the ability to create space and create those plays to find his line mates in Turi Lekkinen and Nathan McKinnon open. And I think that has really helped this Colorado Avalanche team. So I think you'll get him in at a cheaper cap hit, which will be over an 8-year span around maybe $12 million range to late $11.9 million range, as Scotia Stat Card says. So I think this is a very affordable option because if they say had to keep Rantanen and Rantanen wanted to stay in Colorado, he would have got his 14, 15 million or whatever it was. And then they wouldn't have had enough room to keep the best defenseman in the world in Cale Makar. So it was a great return for this trade, and I think we're seeing it pay off in dividends now, and we will over the future once he signs this contract.
You never know how those trades are going to go. When you look back at last year, right? Martin Necas is coming in, and in theory, he's going to be a great player. But what if he isn't for a new team, right? But he has been. He's been that guy, and like you can see here, and like you brought up, point a game player, right? He's 6'3". I'll bring it up again. The one thing that's very impressive to me is how many minutes he's playing a night. He's averaging almost 22 minutes a night as well. He's playing in different situations, like you mentioned, that synergy with Nathan McKinnon. You would like to keep that, right? Like you would like to re-sign him. So he's been unbelievable so far this year. Again, over a point a game player to start the year. The Avs have been on fire as well. They look like they're going to be, I think a lot of people would have predicted it anyway, but going to be a Stanley Cup contender. If you look over the course of his career, even last year, after that whole fiasco and getting traded to the Colorado Avalanche when he didn't necessarily want to be, I feel like he was happy in Carolina. He did put up a lot of points last year too, and he did perform in the playoffs as well. Obviously in that 7-game series against the Dallas Stars, he had 5 points, which is, that's pretty good. So, he's a player. He's a good player for this team, a top line player. So you'd like to hang on to him. Now, in terms of the implications on the team, we'll move over to that because obviously the Avs feel confident that they can do it. And in looking at it, we'll get into it, I feel like they can as well. This is our current cap situation. about $2 million. Obviously, this doesn't affect them this year, so that doesn't really matter. But if you're looking into the future, into next year, they have a projected $27 million in cap space. And keep in mind, it doesn't really necessarily affect them next year because you still have one more year of Cale Makar, but you do have to sign Cale Makar and keep that in mind for the season after. The cap is rising, even if Necas ends up making what he's projected to make at, like you've mentioned, $12 million over 8 years, which makes a lot of sense, especially with the cap rising. I think that they can absolutely get this done. I absolutely do. He started the season very hot and obviously has that synergy with Nathan MacKinnon. But if you look through the lineup, they only have to sign a handful of players for next year. Obviously, Gavin Brindley is going to need an extension. I don't think that's going to be anything crazy, maybe a little significant. You have to sign one of your goaltenders as well in Wedgwood. There's a couple signings that you have to make. We don't even know if Brett Burns is going to come back next year, right? So maybe you have to go out and sign another defenseman. So there are some things that need to be done, but I don't know if it affects them necessarily next year. I think that they can sign him to $12 million, be fine for next year, sign Cale Makar to his extension, and figure it out after because the salary cap is going up $10 million after that. So I don't know how you feel about that as well. I think they can absolutely get this done. There's hardly anything they have to move out of the way to get it done, and they're still a contender this year and in my eyes next year as well.
Man, signing those bottom six guys is a big deal because these are the guys that help you win championships. We've seen it most recently with Florida. Their third and fourth line has chipped in at times of need. And, I know a lot of people would say, hey, let's just sign our stars and we'll just fill out the bottom six. But you need a bottom six of guys who are going to come in and they're going to, provide you with some offense every other night or give a spark to this team with the fourth line going out and laying some big hits. That's what these guys are for. They're role players. They know how to play their role. And on any given night, either one of them can go off. I mean, look at their third line right now. Victor Olofsson just had a hat trick the other night. So, you need to keep these guys around because when it comes playoff time, yes, McKinnon's going to be on fire because he is every year in the playoffs. Necas is going to chip in as well, but you need the guys in clutch situations that are going to come off the bench for their, 30, 40-second shift and try their best to put one in the back of the net or drive the opponent through the board. So I think this is maybe more important than locking up a star is having a solid bottom six, but in saying that, you don't want to lock up your bottom six to high contracts, so you can't, save a guy like sign a guy like Cale Makar or sign a guy like Martin Necas because they are obviously top priority, but you also need to think about that in the back of your mind if you are management, because you see how great Landeskog and Olofsson are playing right now, and you want to keep those guys around as well.
Absolutely. And you bring up Victor Olofsson. That was a great depth signing for them and obviously paying off so far. So you bring up a great point, right? And Landeskog is now on your third line. His role has changed a little bit with the team, obviously, due to his injury, but to see him back is incredible as well. So shout out to Gabe Landeskog, the captain of the team. But let's have some fun before we wrap up here, in talking about Martin Necas and what the Avs are going to do. In your eyes, KC, do you think that they can win the Stanley Cup? And my second question too, and let us know down below in the comments how you feel about this too. Does Marty Necas get 100 points? Because he's on pace to do it. He's had a tough time in the NHL at times staying healthy and playing a full season. He's never been able to get there, but he's a really good player. It looks like he's putting up some crazy points. Like I brought up the stats a little bit earlier as well. He's playing a lot of minutes. He's over a point per game player right now. Does he get to 100 points and do they win the Stanley Cup? To me, the Stanley Cup thing, I don't know if they're the deepest team this year. We'll see, right? We'll see how the rest of the season goes. But in terms of 100 points, he's on fire this year. He's playing with one of the best centers in the league. I think that he does it.
Yeah, I definitely think he does as well. I mean, it is, kind of contract year for him. So, players in contract years always have better years typically. So I think he will get to that threshold. And in terms of winning the Stanley Cup, it is going to be hard, but ever since they went out and acquired Mackenzie Blackwood, who I might say has been playing terrific for this team ever since he was acquired, I think that that trade was, the solidify for them that we're going to push for the Stanley Cup. But now, you got old ally turned enemy in Mikko Rantanen. You need to beat this guy in the Dallas Stars to get past that. And I think if they do beat the Dallas Stars in the playoffs, they do meet again this year, and they win, I think the momentum they will get off of that will throw them into the Stanley Cup final again. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think now, you have, like I said, old ally turned enemy, a lot of storylines involving that, but Nate Dogg's different in the playoffs, so who knows what's going to happen this year? But I am rooting for the Avs because I really like their roster this year, and I'd like to see them go out and win one more, post Mikko Rantanen era.
And definitely because, where Mikko Rantanen ended up and because of the way the NHL playoffs are structured, I think this might be a yearly occurrence at this point. We'll see. Maybe not in the first round, but I'm sure they're going to be seeing a lot of each other. And last year, Rantanen got the best of them, but this is a pretty good team, and I think they're hungry and they're better built this year as well, I think. So should be very interesting to see what happens. We want to hear from you in the comments. Let us know what you think about Martin Necas, the future of him in Colorado. I do believe he's going to end up staying. It just makes sense at this point. They probably wanted to feel out how this season was going to start. It started very well, so I think they're going to end up getting it done. That's good news for Avs fans and good news for the league and fans of the league as well, because they're a pretty exciting duo, and if you watch playoff hockey, man, they are exciting to watch. So should be a lot of fun. Let us know how you feel in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything going on around the NHL.